How we doing, everybody? It's Wardy here, and we're back at it with our latest New York Metropolitan pregame show presented by BetUS TV, Mando, and SeatGeek, just to name a few. And we're going to get into some of those amazing sponsors here shortly, everybody, because they keep the lights on and they keep things afloat here every single day along with your amazing support. And guys, we have a lot to get into today as it's game 2 of a 3-game set at home for the Mets with a 13-1 homestand at this point to begin the year. Pretty nice if you ask me, and they're trying to secure their latest series victory tonight against the Diamondbacks. So not Corbin Carroll, I apologize. Even though Carroll is playing today, he is not pitching, however. Hopefully he is by the game's end, which means that's a blowout win for the Amazons. But Corbin Burnes there, the newcomer, the former Cy Young Award winner who signed a long-term deal this past offseason with the Diamondbacks to help front their rotation with guys like Zach Gallen and when healthy, Merrill Kelly, among others. He's in there today with his just over 4 ERA, facing off against Huascar Brazaban, who gets the spot start for the Mets again for the second time over the past 2 weeks. He did it against the Minneapolis-Minnesota Twins, and now he's doing it here against the Arizona Diamondbacks with, yes, the southpaw Brandon Waddell that we broke down thoroughly the past couple days on the platform, including our video that dropped earlier today with special guest Samantha Croston. I implore you guys to check that out as we did a nice deep dive on everything you need to know on Waddell, but we're going to get into him, what the expectation is for him and today, and what will be a bulk outing for him on the relief front. And speaking of relievers, everybody, the Mets continue to get hit hard on the lefty front. Yesterday, we first heard news that A.J. Minter's season may already come to a premature end with season-ending surgery to his left lat. Now we come to find out that Danny Young has been placed on the 15-day injured list with an elbow injury himself. Brooks Raley was shifted to the 60-day IL, but that's retroactive. Nothing changes there, so not to be concerned for anyone that maybe is going to have an overreaction like people always do. Same thing with Manaea when he was transferred to the 60-day yesterday. All retroactive, nothing to worry about there. And Chris Davinsky, the veteran right-handed reliever who's had plenty of major league experience, gets called up as a corresponding move. But folks, the Mets are without a lefty, and they're not going to have a lefty in their bullpen for the next 2 weeks unless A, Brandon Waddell plays his way to stay on this Mets roster as a multi-inning reliever there. That's a southpaw for them to consider more in low to mid leverage after, depending on how far he goes and how solid he is today. We also have to get into guys a little bit in Genesis Cabrera, Anthony Gose, among others, should the Mets consider their internal options when evaluating lefty fits in this bullpen. So a lot to get into, folks. We're going to break down these lineups left and right here in just a second, and we will go from there. I'm not going to be rocking the Hojo stash, but I like the way you think, Michael. That's pretty funny. Let's do a roll call here, everybody, and then we'll go from there. Jack, thank you so much for the donation. Jack with a $2 holla says right away, Wardy, how many bombs is Soto ending the year with? Great question, and I'm going to call it now. Juan Soto ends the season with at least 35 home runs. I think he will do that for the Mets this season, even while only having what will likely be just 3 throughout the first month of the year. And speaking of Juan Soto and speaking of this Mets team, let's also talk about what the Mets have historically done so right over this past month and what they can do to continue to make their own history, especially at Citi Field. As we stated in our video and live show over the past day, the Mets now have the tied record for the best in National League history for the most wins in the first month of April. It's tied with another team or so with 19. And if the Mets win today, they will have themselves sole possession of first place for the most wins ever in the first month of the season there in National League Baseball history. So the Mets are trying to get more historic things to happen as they look for their 22nd win on this season and look to have a really exciting game against a Corbin Burnes and an Arizona Diamondbacks team that by all means is a tough, very pesky team to go up against, but thankfully the Mets took care of business rather comfortably yesterday. I'd imagine that they can hopefully do more of the same today, depending on how much of a groove or lack thereof that a guy like Burnes is in, and depending on if our bullpen gets absolutely destroyed today against Arizona's lethal offense, even without Ketel Marte, or if the Mets pitching continues its dominance that's led them to having the #1 pitching staff in baseball per WAR, what a 6.1 F-WAR for wins above replacement per Fangraphs, over a full win better than the San Diego Padres and the Giants and other teams there on the totem pole. But Jack, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Let's get in here. I see Jack. I see Shrek's great member. I see Brandon. How you doing? I see M. How are you? Let's see. We need a live game stream. Don't you worry, M. We're doing our next live game stream this Friday against the Cardinals for game 1 of that series. I got you guys covered late night here. We'll be doing a live show a full watch party live here on YouTube and in the Playback app, where you guys can check out by signing into your MLB TV subscription by heading over to playback.tv/WardyNYM. Links down below for you guys to check it out should you have interest, and I'll reaffirm that tomorrow and the following day for you guys. Chad O'Neill, great member. How are you? Zach Flagerton. James Carroll, great member. Hope you are fantastic. Going up the list here, we got Ghost in here. We got Zach Flagerton. We got Kevin. We got the donation again from Jack. Michael Page, how we doing? Brandon, NY Mets, going up here even more. We got our guys. And Brendan, how you doing? We got Brendan. Again, thank you so much for calling in yesterday, Brendan. I appreciate that. LFGM, baby. Hope you're doing well. Keep those tenders warm for me. If you know, you know. Sean Daniels, great member. How you doing? Leo, great member. Mike, David, everybody, come one, come all. Happy to have you guys in here today. Thank you so much. Here at work, waiting for the game to start. Happy to have you as always. Just make sure you don't get in trouble at work. That's all I got to say. Priorities first, as always. Wardy ready for another W tonight? Absolutely. Cold cut truth. I hope you're in fact correct. And good question, Jack. Is he okay? John Gallagher, how are you? Happy to have you in here. Shrek's next watch party is Friday, so be on the lookout for it. And we will be doing more than just once a week, guys, but you just have to bear in mind, schedule makes it easier said than done. I got a lot of things going on every single day, especially in the evening. So my nights are they don't end any earlier than very late usually when I'm doing post-game and an additional video to drop in the AM every day for you guys from a night to another night game. Normally not a night to a day game because there isn't as much of a turnaround unless there's a lot of topics to get into, so we'll see. But yes, watch parties on Friday, and then we'll go from there. I did want to answer, and Dave Caplitz, great member, happy to have you in here. Jack, I hope you have a blast at the game today, my man. Thank you so much for chiming in and donating while you're there. That means a lot. Shay's doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. He actually had a lot of fun today. I and my lady, we took him to his first swim lesson. So that was really cool. Had a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, no, Shay got a chance to swim it up in a pool for the first time. He thoroughly enjoyed it. So onward and upward, baby. But to get back to what the comment was that we had here in the chat, which is Nimmo okay? Nimmo is okay, and he is available off the bench, but he's still dealing with a pretty upset tummy from getting a stomach bug the past 48 hours or so. He is one of 6 Mets who have had this kind of stomach bug linger so far this season, and sadly, right after Nimmo had his best game of his career, now he's benched back-to-back days. Not because we want him benched or that he wants to be benched, but because of things out of our control, because his stomach is just no bueno right now. But guys, let's get into taking a look at these lineups between the Diamondbacks and the Mets here, because as we know, the Mets went up, teeing up big time in Eduardo Rodriguez, and that was batting practice for this amazing Mets team. Smash that like and subscribe on as you guys chime in, folks. Means a lot. Also, one final thing, then we'll break down these laps. I apologize. Always apologize for the tangents. It's twofold. One, check out everybody in case you haven't already. In the Bleacher Report app, I did my latest MLB Daily segment. Funny enough, a half hour I did mine. John Heyman did his, and we did a very similar topic, which was on the Mets. But I broke down today how the Mets are currently the best in baseball and how it's potentially sustainable or not. So if you guys want to check that out, that is linked on the community tab here on YouTube. Had a lot of fun breaking it down. We went through a lot of the numbers and fan graphs, went through the numbers point of view, the biased point of view, and the unbiased point of view as to if it's sustainable or not and why. I really enjoyed that conversation. I hope you guys do too. And one final thing, everybody, that I got to share, that this goes back. We first put you guys on yesterday here on the platform, but I'll put you guys on one more time as well for everybody that didn't see it, because we're going to be reaffirming this. This will be official in the coming days, so be on the lookout, everybody. Very exciting news, and that is, yes, as you guys can see, and 3, 2, and 1. We have Wardy Day, official Wardy Day at Citi Field, August 1st. Fireworks night, the day after the MLB trade deadline. So whatever big news happens from the Mets, we're covering it all the day prior, and then we're going to all hit Citi Field together for a very special, exclusive Wardy Mets-related event live at the Mets game to hang out and sit with your guy Wardy. And this is what I've been hinting to many of you guys who have seen this already in our pre-sale mentions over the past couple weeks. So guys, if you want to get in on the pre-sale for this, so you guys get first dibs on tickets when these go public, I will do exactly that for you, and all you need is to simply email me at officialwardynym@gmail.com. That is down below in the description of this for you guys to check out. Send me your full name and the amount of tickets you guys would have interest in. Official ticket prices will be made official once I reach out to you guys via email individually and get those pre-sale things sent your way for you guys to get first dibs. But I'm so excited for this. You guys are going to be getting a drink voucher, going to be getting early game access with your guy Wardy on Citi Field for a group photo. We may be doing some pregame stuff as well, tailgate-wise. We're still figuring that out. But at least at the stadium itself, we're going to be hanging out in a fantastic lounge area there in left field. That's one that they made just over the past couple years. Really, really like it, as well as the drink voucher, the on-field access, and hanging out with your guy Wardy throughout the entirety of the Mets game. So that's right after the trade deadline. Fireworks night at Citi Field should be an absolute blast, and I cannot wait to hang out with so many of you amazing Mets fans. So once more, head over to officialwardynym@gmail.com. Send me your full name and the number of tickets you think you'd have interest in trying to acquire for this event, and we will reach out to you guys in the very, very near future, so be on the lookout for it. Let's see, and I know, and not my fault, unfortunately, that the drinks are going to be as expensive as they are, but at least you're getting a voucher. That's always better than nothing. So, Jack, awesome. Love to see that. And again, thank you guys so much for the support. Always does mean a lot. So now let's get into this, and I apologize, I'm on the run slide here. That's from last night. So let's get on to our you guys a jump scare with the intro, because why wouldn't I? Let's get into it now and break down these laps between the Mets and the Diamondbacks, shall we? As you guys see here, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, their lineup is as follows. Batting leadoff with a just under 800 OPS is Tawa. They are at second base. Batting second is one of my favorite players in all the National League that isn't on the Mets, and that's a 5-tool talent in Corbin Carroll, with his over 1,000 OPS commanding right field. Batting third is Randall Grichuk, a lefty killer with his 731 OPS commanding DH. Batting fourth is the home run leader in all the National League right now, and Eugenio Suarez with his 837 OPS commanding the hot corner. Batting fourth is going to be Mr. Josh Naylor with his just under 900 OPS at first base. He comes in as Pavin Smith got the start yesterday against the lefty, but Naylor now looking to have himself a favorable matchup against the Mets bullpen today. We'll see what happens. I do like the fact, too, that the Mets are going with the spot starter in Brosban and then a Waddell, because you go from starting off as a right-hander for an inning or two and then go right to a lefty for potentially 3-4+ innings in Waddell. I like throwing off potentially the batters early there in Arizona. Hopefully it works, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. We'll just have to wait and see. Gabby Moreno there at catcher with his sub-600 OPS, batting sixth. Batting seventh is Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who is a part of the Gabby Moreno trade for Dalton Varsho a couple years ago with the Toronto Blue Jays. He has a 520 OPS. He's been off to a quiet start this season as well, commanding left field. Batting eighth is a youngster in Barossa, who had himself a good game yesterday against these Mets, 417 OPS, commanding center field. And batting ninth is Hampson with his 504 OPS at shortstop. Corbin Burns is your starting pitcher for Arizona with his 4.05 ERA and his 5.25 expected ERA, everybody. And we'll go from there. So now, everybody, let's get on to the Mets lineup. And as we see the Mets lineup, it is as follows, folks. And the story on Danilo Nunez is that they're wanting him to ramp up more, but you'd have to think he's returning soon. Now that Danny Young's on the injured list, especially, because I don't think losing Young is the end of the world by any stretch. It just stings a lot more because we literally just lost A.J. Minter. So it's like, okay, now we have no lefty options to choose from outside of Brandon Waddell today, who will be coming in starting the second or third inning. But as we see for the Mets, batting leadoff is Mr. Lindor himself, a man with a 2-run shot just a day ago, 6 bombs on the year, and is off to a tremendous season start in 2025. The captain, Francisco Lindor, in the leadoff position. Batting second is the one and only, and Juan Soto, looking still for his first home run of the year at Citi Field, as the Mets are 13-1 throughout their first 14 games at Citi Field this season. Yeah, he doesn't have a home run there yet. That has to change. The Polar Bear batting, of course, third here, had himself a solo shot. Absolutely tanked yesterday that we saw there off of, I believe, Ryan Nelson, the bullpen of the Diamondbacks. We saw Alonso with over 1,000 OPS commanding first base. Batting fourth is Swaggy V and Mark Vientos. Mark continues to swing the bat better every game as of late, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does moved up in the 4-hole here with his 662 OPS commanding the hot corner. Batting fifth, he stayed in the lineup even against the right-hander because he deserves it after the bomb yesterday, and I am not against that, but I would like to see, and I expect to see Jesse Winker later in this ball game, especially depending on the pitching matchup. Starling Marte's back in there against his former team in the Diamondbacks with his 652 OPS commanding DH. Batting 6th, back in the lineup after not starting yesterday, and that was fine because the Mets didn't need him, thankfully, and that is Jeff McHits. Jeff McNeil back in the lineup for the Mets, hoping to continue his hot pace with the torpedo bat. A home run, a triple. Opposite field hits for galore is what we've gotten from McNeil. He's looking locked in early. Happy to see how he will perform now in left field for his first left field start of the season. Batting 7th is Francisco El Troll Alvarez. Alvarez, who's had a single, an RBI double, and a 2-run home run in his first couple games of the year throughout his first 4 games. He gets a start today at catcher again, which means that Luis Torrens will be starting tomorrow for Kodai Senga. Alvarez there at catcher with his 749 OPS. Batting 8th is going to be Luis Angel Acuna, who had himself another multi-a game and an RBI yesterday. Acuna is now up to, I apologize, does he have an RBI from yesterday? Maybe, I think he just had the runs scored. Either way, Acuna is a dynamo, 726 OPS, batting 300 right now with a double. And batting 9th is a man who finally had his first big game of the year. That's Tyrone Taylor with acrobatic catches galore that we saw in center field, having David Pearson look like Jacob deGrom back in 2022 after Brandon Nimmo absolutely robbed Justin Turner of a bomb dead center. A lot of shades of similarity with the same reaction from the starter there. But no less, we see Mr. Tyrone Taylor with his key double, single, pair of RBIs, big defense, big offense yesterday, which led to him being our player of the game. He bats 9th in center field there with his 508 OPS. And at starter, everybody, Ralph, hope you have a great game. Hope you have a great time at the game if you're there right now. And if you're there for Wardy Day, Ralph, if that's what you meant to say, awesome. I can't wait to see you there. Again, thank you guys so much for that. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. We're doing multiple things at Citi Field this year, but that is probably going to be the biggest one, I'd say, on capacity of you guys showing up and taking part in something with me, but not the only thing that we're doing at Citi this year, which I'm looking forward to. Huascar Brosman gets a spot start, like I said, for the second time over the past couple weeks. Had that same exact situation happen against the Twins, pitched a scoreless inning. Then Justin Hagman held the fort down for a bit. If it wasn't for Harrison Bader and the Mets losing in extras, they should have won that series in Minnesota, and that's what I have to say about that. But Barraza with his 1.56 ERA and his 3.92 expected ERA, so he's had a lot of lady luck on his side, and the defense in his favor early is what's led to those numbers. But if you guys are first chiming in again, Danny Young, our only other lefty option, the bullpen, has officially been placed on the 15-day injured list, and the Mets are without a lefty now for the foreseeable future, unless A, Brandon Woodell plays himself into a bullpen spot for the Mets should he perform well in multiple innings. B, the Mets will bring up guys like Jesus Cabrera, Anthony Gose, or C, it's potentially someone else that we're not talking about internally. As externally, there are very few and far in between options, but I'm sure we'll discuss them in the near future regardless. But when evaluating the Mets bullpen right now, expect them to have Chris Davinsky up for at least today, and depending on if Davinsky 1 pitches today and 2 how he performs, will kind of dictate how the Mets go from there. Like each and every one of you, I too want Danilo Nunez back in this bullpen, but the Mets have not called him up for their own obvious reasons. So when they believe it is time for Nunez to be caught up, where he's not going anywhere and not being sent down immediately, I am looking forward to seeing that become a reality. President, let's see. Your dad is a big Mets fan. Love to hear that. Absolutely love to hear that. And that makes sense why you're chiming in as a Dodgers fan. I'm going to that Mets-Cubs game on the 9th too, my guys, so maybe you'll just run into me. Maybe I'll see your pops. We'll find out. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I am going to be attending May 9th's game, Mets-Cubs. We'll probably do a live show there somewhere at the ballpark. That's the plan. And then I'll be back there for May 11th, Mother's Day. That's going to be a really fun day as well. Looking forward to that. That's a 12 p.m. game, so that's going to be a really early hike there to Citi Field. But yeah, that will be the busiest series that we have in May when it comes to actually covering the games at Citi Field more than at home for the series itself, because solid chance that 2 out of those 3 games I'll actually do some type of recording or live show straight from the ballpark like we did a week and a half or so ago when I was there last one. The Mets walked off the Phillies. Let's see. Mark Vientos tips it off, the glove straight into the glove of Lindor. That was just, it was fantastic. That play yesterday was immaculate, 1,000%. But speaking about immaculate, I would love for the Mets to have an immaculate victory today. And in order for that to happen, they're going to need to have things go right on the pitching end. And as we've said, this is far and away the most the Mets have been tested right now on the pitching front. The Diamondbacks entering today's game were a top 4 team in Major League Baseball with their offense. That's with Ketel Marte currently on the injured list for them, still working his way back up. And for the Mets here, what they have is a pitching staff that's been number 1 in baseball. And the pitching staff trumped the Diamondbacks offense yesterday in that 8-3 victory. But can they do it today when the Mets have pretty much a full bullpen game going on? That's the biggest test yet. That's a big question. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know what to expect today. I can just tell you that from what I know, Brandon Waddell, who's expected to probably pitch 3 to 4 innings today. What live show would it be if we didn't have a jump scare? Exactly, Jack. I'm glad you appreciate that for what it is. I'm glad that we've also rallied around the natural hiccups that happen with yours truly, but that's just naturally what's going to happen when you get daily content. If I'm going to pump content out as consistently as I do, I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to be far from perfect. So the least we could do is joke about it and actually maybe look forward to it at times when it happens. Like maybe when I have the jingle running without realizing that I'm like, oh shit, now I got to play it twice back to back. So we'll see. Can't wait for that game. Awesome. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. You're going to the Mets-Dodgers on the 25th. I will be at Mets-Dodgers on the 23rd. We're doing something very special on the 23rd, everybody. Look out for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Mets-Dodgers game 1. I will be there. I won't be there for any other game of the series, but I will be there for that Friday. I'm actually very grateful that I'm heading to Friday Mets games this month of May coming up, because I did not get to experience any Friday night Mets games last season at all, I don't believe. So this will be really nice. At least this is what I'm hoping, at least. We'll see how everything pans out. But getting back to it, the Diamondbacks have a lot of potential to jump on the Mets pitching early today. And if that does happen, if, say, Huascar Brosman doesn't do his job as a spot start, and then we bring in Mr. Brandon Waddell and he just doesn't perform, then it is what it is. Then the Mets are going to need to make sure that they secure the rubber match tomorrow if they can't best things with their own offense today. But that's the thing. Their offense is so unbelievably deep. There is so much potential there. And Daniel, absolutely. Hopefully we can make that happen. Can I come to a Mets and Nats June 11th? Not sure yet. It's a little early on my schedule to find that out, but I'll get back to you, brother. Where you just go to the nastiest weather ever on a Friday night. Oh, 100%. With my luck, it's going to be just thunderstorms the entire time, right? Hi, everyone. Got like 5-minute break. Glad I checked for a live show. Here is. God bless you. Oh, thank you so much, PB9. Same to you. Great member as always. We're always happy to have you in here. But, yeah, if the Mets get rocked today, they get rocked today. But their offense has been so resilient that I'm damn confident that even if the Arizona Diamondbacks, say, get off to an early 2 or 3 run lead within the first couple innings, I have no doubt in my mind that the Mets will at least rally, even if it's not until after Burns exits the game. Say Burns goes so solid, 7 shutout, gives up 1 earned run on the Mets across 7 innings, right? I still have confidence that they will try to pounce on a Diamondbacks bullpen that while they have their pieces, they have still been injury plagued so far this year. And the main guy that we don't want to see in the Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen has been the man that's been slotted into their closer position since a guy like A.J. Puck's been down with injury too, and that is Justin Martinez, if I believe that's his name correctly. Martinez, who started off last year, was touching high 90s to 100 on the gun. Pinpoint accuracy was a human highlight reel. Disgustingly good. I did not enjoy when the Mets faced him at all last season. The same way I won't enjoy facing him in either of today and or tomorrow's games too. But if the Mets are able to find a way, it's obviously going to be with that resiliency that they have with their offense. And when we look at the lineup today in particular, you know, guys who fare better versus worse against Corbin Burnes. Let's actually get into it right now, as I do like to look up these splits just in case any of them kind of give us an inside edge. When I used to do series previews entirely to drop on the platform, and that we haven't done those really since 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But when we did more of those full series previews, I would reference StatMuse a lot, and I would look at the key performers out of the Mets lineup and their past history against the starting pitcher of the opposing team. So for Corbin Burnes today, let's take a look and see how this is going to fare for them. Let's go Acuna with the consistent starts. I know, he's so good. He's got to stay in there, baby. He's doing so well. Guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button as you guys chime in if you're enjoying the content, as we're breaking down all the latest in Mets land, as the Mets are about to get set for Game 2 of a 3-game set at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks after winning yesterday. 8-3 was the final. my mind is kind of running at the moment. There is one thing I did want to say. Brandon, happy to have you in here. Thank you so much for joining. Lewis, great member as well. We're very happy to have you in here. Fizzy Fade, everybody and your mother, we appreciate you. What is the main thing that I want to say here before we kind of got into stat news? I'm just trying to think what it was, Tyler. Let's see. Maybe someone in the chat is going to... Okay. Chris Davinsky is what I want to mention briefly. Chris Davinsky is the called-up reliever today. Kevin Herget, who pitched well yesterday, has been sent down because we knew he was going to be a one-and-done. Not a slight on Herget at all, just a reality of the matter of fact that the Mets need to make roster moves with Waddell coming up, and they wanted a fresh arm with Davinsky today versus Herget, who wouldn't have been available after eating the innings that he did yesterday. But Chris Davinsky last season was with the Tampa Bay Rays, and in 26 innings, had an over 8 K per nine to a sub 5 walks per nine, at a 6.75 ERA with a 5.9 expected ERA. Davinsky, however, has a career 3.98 ERA across 400 flat innings in his major league career. And 2 seasons ago, he was with 2 teams, and in 42 innings, had a 4.46 ERA and a 4.58 expected ERA. The best seasons that Davinsky ever had, funny enough, were in the first couple years of his career. In 2016 with the Astros, with the cheating Stros, he had a 108 innings eaten, an 8.6 K per nine to a 1.66 walks per nine, a 2.16 ERA with a 2.98 expected ERA. 2017, 80 innings pitched, higher K to walk ratio, 2.68 ERA, looking good. 2018 starts to not look as good, but the expected numbers are better. 2019, 69 innings, not as good, but the expected numbers aren't terrible. But he just gradually kind of starts to lose a bit more. But the Mets clearly saw something in Davinsky, and that's why they had an appeal of him. And Davinsky also has been pretty solid so far in Syracuse this year as well. So that is why you are seeing Davinsky get the call right now over Nunez, because solid chance that Davinsky may only be up here for 24, 48 hours. And that be that, should they need him as the innings eater today. So we'll see. Jack says, what happened? Used to switch off hats. Now you've worn that one for the last few shows. Don't worry, I love it. Oh, it all depends on whatever mood I'm in, if I'm being honest. Like I have the Mr. Met hat here as well. And I wear my hats out really fast, in the sense I kind of get them dirty just because I'm a sweaty schmuck when I'm going to games and I'm wearing these things. So I also get very appealed with a new hat, and I just want to like break it in and wear it a lot right away. But I have this puppy. I have endless other Mets hats that I wear on occasion, whether I'm out. That's separate from the content. I have my black Mets hat that's structured just like this. It just isn't a New York or nowhere, as you guys can see there. But yeah, no, I love my Mets hats, but it just depends on really what I'm in the mood for. And some of them, depending on how long or short my hair is, are more comfortable than others because I got a big noggin. So like today, I'm like, all right, this is feeling fine. But maybe just because you said that, maybe I'll put on a different Met hat for the show tonight. You'll just have to wait and see. You have that one too. Love that, Trex. Love to hear that. Let's see. Wardy Day sounds sick. Too bad I live in Oregon. Geraldo, it sounds like you got to fly out, my guy. All jokes aside, I appreciate you having the interest. Even if you can't make it, no worries. Know that this is just the first of many that we'll be doing in the future, and this will probably expand beyond just Citi Field. To what degree, I'm not sure. I'm not going to go full 7 line on you because they have their own thing for a reason. I'm not really trying to do that. Just more so just trying to have outings every now and then to interact with my community. Because, when we have a base of, north of 33,000, I think the least your guy Wardy can do is try to attend some games with you guys throughout the course of the season and maybe playoffs, right? Maybe do some watch parties at some bars, especially. Like, we can have so much fun with it. And the best part about what I do is that, again, I can do these post-game shows as long as I have connection. I can pretty much do them wherever. So while I like my own setup at home, it's very ideal. I'm not opposed to also having a setup where if I'm at Citi Field, if I'm at a bar, as long as I just bring my lights and everything, it takes 2 seconds to get set up and bing, bang, boom, we're locked and loaded, we're ready to go. So we're going to definitely be more on the run this year than we have been last season. Like last season, we weren't. The first half we were because I was residing in a different place temporarily for a period of time. And then after that was done, it was pretty much you guys knew where I was going to be every time. This year will be different. I will be attending more games than potentially that I've ever had in recent seasons. This might be as many as 2022, and I attended at least 20 games in 2022. So trying to attend quite a bit in May, trying to get to plenty in June, and obviously July, August. Things are going to be getting tighter for my schedule as we get deeper into summer and closer to the beginning of fall, but I'm still going to do everything in my power to attend these games as much as I possibly can. Kish, I like the way you think, and don't steal my mojo because I'm going to talk about more of that in a future video. But yes, I definitely like the way you think there. You wore the Knicks hat the other night. Dash, I did. I wore it last night, as a matter of fact, but I had to take it off after our boys lost. Heartbreaking loss. I took it off live on air, you know, like as if someone died or something. Just like I had to take it off and put on the Mets cap. That was not fun. My buddy was at the Knicks game too and spent a pretty penny just to be there, so I felt for him big time. Hope to meet you at a Mets game where he got tickets to May 13th, 30th, and July 20th. Potentially maybe either at the end of the month of May or maybe in July. We'll have to see. I might be on vacation in July, so we'll see regarding those games though, Brandon, for sure. How are we feeling about the season so far, Wardy? I'm feeling fantastic. Feeling fantastic. Jack, I would love to throw out first pitch. That won't happen yet, but I can see that happening at some point. But at the same time, it's like I'm fine not ever doing that either. You know, I'm a lot more inclined and cool to be a media member / talking head than kind of being someone to do something like that. Oh, guys, speaking of playback, you guys have been wanting me to do more watch parties. Well, Mark, Draftneck Mark, is doing a watch party tonight for the Mets game. So if you guys are interested in checking out his playback watch party, make sure you do. I may stop by if I have time to make it happen. If I don't, then I won't, but I'm going to try to because I think that'd be fun to chop it up with him for a little bit throughout the game. So be on the lookout, guys. Maybe taking part in that once we're done with this. But outside of that, everybody, I do know that I will be doing my playback show on Friday against the Cardinals. So definitely be on the lookout for it for sure. I would love to be a spot starter. There'd be nothing that I would enjoy more than blowing out my shoulder and everything that my elbow has to offer by just getting absolutely rocked by throwing, 40-mile-per-hour meatballs right down the pipe. I'd have an absolute blast, Dash. I really would. But all right, guys, let's get into this real quick. As a longtime Pistons fan, I felt the same way at the end of Game 4. At least the NBA admitted it was a blown call. That's true, Kish. And again, congratulations on the win yesterday. I wish you nothing but the worst for the remainder of the series, but no, that's out of love and nothing short of it. Let's get into briefly here on StatMuse. And I'm actually going to hit Mark back real quick. Yeah, let's see. Okay, when we take a look at the splits here, who has fared well and who has not fared well against Corbin Burns, we're just going to go through everybody here. Lindor, stats versus Burns. Francisco Lindor is 6 for 18, a 333 average, and looking at an 889 OPS in his career against Corbin Burns. Lindor is hitting something good tonight. I don't know what exactly it's going to be, but it's going to be something good. Let's get on to the polar bear. How has Pete Alonso fared here against Mr. Corbin Burns? Let's take a look, everybody. Send me to the pitching lab. Please, Tim. Get me right. Make my 40-mile-per-hour meatball a 50-mile-per-hour meatball. Alonso is 6 for 15 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs and 16 plate appearances against Corbin Burns. Oh, baby. 400 average. 1,500 OPS, guys. It might be batting practice tonight at Citi Field again. I'm not going to lie. It might be batting practice again. Let's see here. Now let's get on to Soto. Juan Soto's 2 for 5 in his career against Corbin Burns. Not going to complain about that at all. Just hasn't had much of a sample size. Let's see Starling Marte. Because Starling's been around the block a hot minute now. How's he fared against Corbin? JD is still a free agent. That is correct. Sounds good, Kish. I spit out my food. That was funny, Lewis. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Starling Marte is 3 for 7 against Corbin Burns. All right, so everyone's batting 400 against Corbin Burns in the Mets lineup that I'm looking up so far. Like, legit everybody. Let's see. Now let's get on to, we'll do Vientos. I don't think Mark's seen him more than maybe like once or twice. Vientos hasn't seen him yet, so tonight will be a first. Let's take a look at Acuna. I know hasn't seen him. Tyrone Taylor probably has. No, I don't want Taylor Ward. I don't want what should be my related brother or cousin, but isn't. I want Tyrone Taylor. Oh, Tyrone hasn't faced Corbin Burns either. Okay. So let's see what Jeff McNeil's numbers are, because he's probably the final guy in the Mets lab that's seen him before. Wow, that's actually hilarious. Jeff McNeil has the worst numbers out of any eligible Mets batter tonight against Burns in their career, from what I'm seeing. McNeil's 4 for 15, which equates to a 267 average and a 733 OPS and 6 games against Burns, which still isn't terrible, but that's good. If that's the low bar for career stats against Burns for the guys who have seen him, I like the Mets odds tonight, obviously. I did not realize Alonso has just absolutely destroyed Burns as much as he has, though. Like, that was surprising to me. Seriously. Again, one time for the people in the back, if you're just chiming in and didn't hear this, we're just looking up individual player stats against Corbin Burns to see who has the best splits entering today's game. And Alonso, again, one more time, he's 6 for 15, but with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs in just 6 games against Corbin Burns for a 400 average and a 1,500 OPS. Like, that's just stupid. It's like actually insane. So yeah, no, he's definitely been doing his part. Yes, I did do a video earlier today about Steve Cohen potentially emerging as a top suitor for SNY services, and I implore you guys to check out that video in case you haven't already. But if you didn't, I will also say that I had a really, really good time breaking down in depth on the upside with Steve potentially buying the network and how I think it would be great for fans. Truthfully, I think it would be great for everybody, including myself, especially in the content space, because everything that at least I've known to this point has been a positive interaction with Steve from the time that I met him before, the time that I've worked with him, not worked with him, but with the time that, I've been fortunate enough to, build a semi-relationship in the past. I think there's just endless upside if the Cohen family has control of everything Mets related. Because while, yes, you're going to have your bias, they're diehard Mets fans. They're just like us. And I have faith that they're not going to steer us in the wrong direction and the type of coverage that they would portray. As long as they would still allow criticism, that's the only thing that matters. And it's not like that they would change SNY to the point where they can't be proper talking heads. They would still have proper talking heads, probably controversial talking heads too. I wouldn't expect anything to drastically change in that situation. Let's see. It's been 8 days since last watch party. We got to step it up. I know, Shreks. I apologize. Again, sadly, it's easier said than done when your guy has as much availability as I have. And right now, when it comes to availability, we're just trying to squeeze in like specific meetings to get like 1 or 2 fitted in a week throughout the week because of how tight things have been transparently. The first half and then the second half of the day. Got a lot going on between now being a daddy as well as doing this full time for you guys. But be grateful. This is what I will say. Be grateful that we're even doing the watch parties because we did them for like every game in 2021. We didn't do them at all in 2022 for the most part. We like just got rid of them basically entirely because I locked in fully on post-game shows. Maybe we did like a couple, but that was about it. 2023, same exact thing. We like very rarely did it. Maybe like 1 or game. Maybe, oh yeah, I think in 2023 we did it like twice, and the one game that we did too was when Noah Syndergaard returned before the end of the season, just for him to then sign with the Angels. 2024, last year, we didn't really do watch parties at all throughout the regular season because I had a lot of moving parts going on, especially in the first half of the year, my personal life. But then as we got trade deadline through that, leading into postseason, that's where I really got back into the swing of things with watch parties. And the postseason proved me right last year that I should just be doing watch parties again and doing my post games along with them when I have the availability and the time to make it happen, because I do thoroughly enjoy them. They're a lot of fun. The only downside of watch parties, outside of the fact that I'm doing them now, partner will play back this year, so that's great, added dollars, and I'm so happy to be promoting a company that I thoroughly enjoy their app. heavily, and that's why I'm going to probably chime into my guy Draftneck Mark's show that he's doing in his watch party right now. If you head over to playback.tv/ I'd imagine Draftneck Mark or something along those lines, I'll look him up in playback as he's doing the Mets game tonight. I'll probably chop it up with him for any or two in there. We'll see in a second before I get out of here. But the watch parties are something that if I can give you guys at least once a week, if not multiple times a week, I think that's awesome, because I'm already giving you pregame before every night game, post-game, after every game throughout the season, morning recaps and update videos every 2 out of 3 days for the most part in a series. So you guys are getting a lot. I'm doing my best here. Let's see here. The game is at 8:15 for the watch party on Friday. Yes. And that's in part why it worked better with my schedule. So that's why I was like, yeah, we'll do that for sure. Or you stay on for the entire game. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I know you guys would like me to do that, but we're not doing that today. Guys and gals, we are actually about going to wrap up the live show, so I apologize if I disappoint any of you all. But this Mets game is about to get started in the next 10 minutes or so, and I'm going to see if Mark wants to chop it up a little bit there in his playback stream. So head over again to playback.tv/ I believe Draftneck Mark. Check out Mark's content. If not, you could head over to his social account on X or probably his community tab. I'm sure he has it there too for you guys to click on it to check out. He's doing tonight's Mets watch party. And Mark, James, doing stuff with them all throughout the season like we typically do, to my closest friends in this Mets community as well, beyond just being, fellow, Mets creators in their own way. They're really good friends of mine, and they do great things too. So I'm going to go check them out, everybody. You enjoy the rest of your night, day, evening, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you all live for our post-game segment. Hopefully, I'm doing my little dancey dance after the boys secure their latest series victory. Until then, have a great one, folks, and as always, no matter what, let's go Mets.